Denmark's strategic position at the entrance to the Baltic Sea has long made its coastal defense a cornerstone of national and NATO security. During the Cold War, Denmark maintained a robust land-based coastal missile defense system centered on the Harpoon missile, designed to deter Soviet naval threats and secure critical maritime choke points. Decommissioned in the early 2000s amid post-Cold War budget cuts and shifting priorities, this system left a gap in Denmark's maritime defense that has become increasingly apparent with Russia's resurgence and modern warfare's evolution. In April 2025, Denmark announced plans to reactivate its coastal missile defense with the advanced Kongsberg Naval Strike Missile, a move driven by lessons from the Ukraine conflict, Baltic Sea vulnerabilities, and NATO's renewed focus on territorial defense. The former Danish land-based coastal missile defense system, operational from the Cold War through the early 2000s, was built around the RGM-84 Harpoon anti-ship missile, a sea-skimming, subsonic cruise missile developed by McDonnell Douglas, later Boeing. With a range of 120 to 150 kilometers and a 225 kilograms high-explosive warhead, the Harpoon was a versatile weapon deployed on mobile, truck-based launchers, typically carrying 2 to 4 missiles per unit. These launchers were supported by coastal radar systems, such as the Terma Scanter series, and command and control units that enabled target acquisition and coordinated salvos. The system's mobility allowed rapid redeployment along Denmark's eastern and southern coasts, particularly on Zealand, Funen, and Bornholm, to cover key approaches like the Danish Straits. Integrated with Harpoon missiles on Royal Danish Navy vessels and F-16 aircraft, the coastal batteries formed a layered anti-ship defense, targeting Soviet surface combatants, amphibious forces, and submarines. This interoperability enhanced Denmark's deterrence, aligning with NATO's forward defense strategy in the Baltic, where control of the straits was critical to preventing Soviet naval breakthroughs into the North Sea. Operationally, the Harpoon coastal defense system was a vital component of Denmark's Cold War posture. Positioned to engage enemy ships within the Baltic Sea and its approaches, the batteries deterred amphibious landings and protected NATO's maritime flanks. The system participated in exercises like Baltops, demonstrating its ability to integrate with Allied naval and air forces. Its mobility and radar-guided seeker made it effective against large surface targets, though its range and technology were less suited to countering stealthy ships or advanced electronic countermeasures emerging in the late 20th century. Maintenance costs, including radar upgrades and missile stockpiles, were significant for Denmark's modest defense budget, but the system's strategic value justified its role during heightened tensions. The Harpoon's active radar homing and over-the-water flight profile ensured reliable performance in the Baltic's complex littoral environment, where islands and narrow straits complicated naval operations. The decommissioning of Denmark's coastal missile defense system between 2000 and 2002 marked a significant shift in its defense priorities. Several factors drove this decision. The collapse of the Soviet Union reduced the immediate naval threat in the Baltic, prompting NATO members, including Denmark, to reorient toward expeditionary operations in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. Budget constraints in the 1990s and early 2000s forced Denmark to prioritize cost-effective capabilities, and the Harpoon batteries, with their high operational and logistical demands, were deemed expendable. The Royal Danish Navy's Harpoon-equipped ships and F-16s with air-launched missiles were seen as sufficient for anti-ship roles, reducing the need for land-based systems. Additionally, Denmark's strategic focus shifted to lighter deployable forces for international missions, deprioritizing static or semi-mobile coastal defenses. The decommissioning process likely involved scrapping or mothballing launchers and radars, with some Harpoon missiles retained for naval use until their replacement by the NSM in the 2020s. Coastal defense units were disbanded or reassigned, and expertise in missile operations was partially preserved in other branches. The absence of a land-based coastal missile defense left Denmark reliant on naval and air platforms, a gap that became increasingly problematic as Russia modernized its Baltic fleet and China expanded its regional presence. The 2022 Nord Stream pipeline sabotage and suspected 2024 attacks on Baltic undersea cables highlighted the vulnerability of critical maritime infrastructure, underscoring the need for robust coastal deterrence. The Ukraine conflict further demonstrated the effectiveness of anti-ship missiles, with systems like Ukraine's Neptune and Harpoon sinking Russian vessels, including the Moskva. These lessons, combined with NATO's renewed emphasis on territorial defense, prompted Denmark's April 2025 announcement to reactivate its coastal missile defense with the Kongsberg NSM. The NSM, with a 185 to 250 kilometers range, stealthy design, and advanced imaging infrared seeker, addresses the Harpoon's limitations, offering greater precision and survivability against modern naval threats. Denmark plans to deploy at least 2 mobile NSM batteries, complementing NSM-equipped Navy ships like the Ivar Huitfeldt-class frigates. The Danish Acquisition and Logistics Organization is finalizing contract details, with deliveries expected in the late 2020s, pending funding and production timelines. The Danish Acquisition and Logistics Organization is finalizing contract details, with deliveries expected in the late 2020s, pending funding and production timelines. The reactivation of Denmark's coastal missile defense is highly significant for several reasons. Strategically, it restores a critical capability to deter Russian naval aggression in the Baltic, where Russia's Kaliningrad exclave and modernized fleet pose ongoing threats. The NSM's extended range and advanced seeker enable Denmark to target a wider array of vessels, including stealthy corvettes and missile boats, enhancing control over the Danish Straits. Operationally, the system's mobility and integration with naval NSMs ensure flexibility and logistical efficiency, allowing rapid response to emerging threats. The choice of the NSM aligns with Nordic cooperation, as Norway, the missile's developer, and other allies like Germany use or plan to adopt it, facilitating shared training and maintenance. Within NATO, the reactivation supports the alliance's 2024 force goals, which emphasize layered air and missile defenses, including littoral capabilities. The NSM batteries will complement Denmark's broader naval modernization, including the 2025 fleet plan for 25 new vessels, sea mines, and Arctic-focused ships, reinforcing its role as a maritime security leader. Economically and industrially, the NSM project benefits Denmark's defense sector. Companies like Terma, which previously supported Harpoon radars, are likely to contribute to NSM integration, particularly for radar and command systems, fostering local expertise and jobs. The project aligns with Prime Minister Mette Frederikssen's push to revive Danish shipbuilding and defense manufacturing, as seen in the Danske Flådeskib Consortium for Arctic vessels. However, challenges remain. The high cost of NSM batteries, estimated in the hundreds of millions of DKK, strains Denmark's defense budget, despite its 2024 commitment to 3% of GDP on defense. The late 2020s delivery timeline may delay operational readiness, particularly amid heightened Baltic tensions. Additionally, reliance on foreign suppliers like Kongsberg highlights the need for greater European defense industrial autonomy, a priority in the EU's Permanent Structured Cooperation and the Draghi Report.